Do you think now, with Daniel Jones taking over as QB1, that the Anthony Richardson era in Indianapolis is officially over?
I think it depends on how Daniel Jones plays. If Daniel Jones plays well and doesn't get hurt, he has a history of injuries. He has a history of throwing a lot of interceptions. His TD to interception ratio was 10 touchdowns to 13 interceptions in his last 16 games with the Giants. If he has stats like that, then there's a possibility that Richardson could wind up back on the field. I was a little surprised they made the call for Jones to be the starter before the preseason's over. Anthony Richardson got hurt in the first preseason game, only played 6 snaps. He dislocated his pinky. And Daniel Jones got 30 snaps in that game, so you saw a lot more of him and what he could do than you did of Richardson. But I think they kind of know what Richardson is, and they saw kind of the similar kind of, he got hurt in preseason. He doesn't lead the team the way they would like. Steichen says he likes the way that Daniel Jones operates the offense at the line of scrimmage, the checks that he does, the protection that he calls, the ball placement, the completion percentage. Those are the things he thinks Richardson has improved on. He said there was some improvement, but he needs more work in these areas. And he says that Richardson knows that. They had a meeting. He called both quarterbacks together, told them what he was going to do, and he said Richardson was fine with it. Jones has had 6 years, 70 games as a starter. So, you'd expect him to play like a veteran out there. And he showed that to Steichen in the preseason, and now he's been named the starter for the whole year. Now, will that turn out to be, if he has some stretches like he played with the Giants where he throws a lot of interceptions, he gets them down in the red zone, turns the ball over, it moves the ball team down the field, then makes a big mistake. He could wear out his welcome pretty quickly in Indianapolis, and they'll be watching that. Or he gets hurt. He has an injury history as well. He's on a 1-year, $14 million contract. Most of that is guaranteed. You asked me, is Richardson's is this the end of his era? Is it done? As I say, I think it depends mostly on the way Jones plays. Richardson has played 15 games in 2 seasons, so it's been a relatively small sample size. In year 1, he had that shoulder injury, cost him 13 games. In year 2, he had 2 games with an oblique injury, and then he was benched for 4 games. And he came back and played a little bit better, but he's really failed at accepting the quarterback responsibilities. I mean, at one point he told the coaches, "I'm too tired. I can't go out there and play." A quarterback can't do that. You can't do that. You're the leader. He lacks, tangible signs of progress this year in the brief time that we saw him in the preseason, and that's why he lost the job. I think time is running out for him on his rookie contract is running out. Jones also has, as I said, an injury history. But you look at what the Colts have been over the past 4 years, and Ballard, the way he's managed from the front office. He had Carson Wentz, he had Matt Ryan, he had Richardson, he had Gardner Minshew, he had Flacco. Now he's got Daniel Jones. So I think that he'll be the fall guy if Daniel Jones is a failure and Richardson comes in and doesn't improve. So he'll be the fall guy. But if Daniel Jones plays well, I think that that'll be the end of Richardson's career with the Colts. Can he move on to something else? He looks a lot like a Trey Lance situation to me, They took him because of all his ability that he had. He'd only a 1-year starter in college. He had the upside, and maybe he still has a higher upside than Daniel Jones, but he hasn't shown it. And I think that, his career with the Colts could be over. Would somebody else try to pick him up like the Cowboys picked up Trey Lance? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
I said this a while ago, and I'm not giving it up. Yeah, it ended a while ago. As soon as Chris Ballard said, we're going to bring in a guy, we're going to bring in somebody for a quarterback competition. Yeah, no, it's 1,000% over for Anthony Richardson. Because you lost to a guy that's been bounced around the league, that was so bad in New York, He got bashed in New York, booed out of a stadium, then went over to Minnesota, didn't play a single game, really at all. And then wasn't really sought after in free agency, and you picked him up. But I did say, in Daniel Jones' defense, when Chris Ballard came out and said we're going to have a quarterback competition, I said it could be Russell Wilson, it could be Kirk Cousins, it could be Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, whoever it is. As soon as they bring in somebody, I think they'll beat out Anthony Richardson. I was dead on accurate. Because, and what's interesting, and you mentioned it with what Shane Steichen said, his whole thing, and Chris Ballard's quote was about consistency. That was his big thing. And after this preseason game, he was asked about how he felt about each quarterback operating the offense. He said, quote, I think it's everything, right? The operation, the communication in the huddle, the checks, guys getting on the same page. The consistency of all of that obviously is going to play a big factor in this. Anthony Richardson's consistency has been his lack of consistency because his entire career has been one thing and one thing only. His incredible arm strength. That's what he's known for. Sending the ball deep. I call it the Madden play. That's what he loves doing, the Madden plays where you chuck the ball deep and pray. In fact, in 2024, last year, he attempted, and these are the numbers, out of 26 qualified quarterbacks of 38 plus dropbacks when throwing deep, so 20 or more yards, these were Anthony Richardson's numbers and effectiveness. He was number one in attempts. He was 18.9. The highest guy was 2.7% lower in dropback percentage when throwing the ball deep. Completion percentage was 26%, dead last. Yards per attempt, 10.3, 23rd out of 26. Touchdown to interception ratio, it's a 0.5, 2 to 4, dead last. Passer rating, dead last. So what he tried to do the most of, or what led the league in, he was the worst at. It's as simple as that. Anthony Richardson tried to play Madden in real life. It's not working. And in fact, you know what's kind of crazy about it? The completion percentage of it, I'll add some context here. I don't know if people really care that much about it, although circumstance maybe. Completion percentage was 26.0. 26.1 was Patrick Mahomes, one guy above him. So Mahomes didn't have a great year throwing the ball deep, but a lot of people knew that. It was a very lucky year for the Kansas City Chiefs. But you talked about that play where he got hurt, where he dislocated his pinky. I want to talk about that because this is what a lot of people were noticing. His awareness of the pocket is zero. Because I think there's 5 or 6 guys that line up on the line of scrimmage, and number 90 just runs right at him. I think it's Ojabo. I believe that's his name. Runs right at him, doesn't even see him. Stares down his receiver, no pocket awareness, does nothing. Doesn't check the line, doesn't check the protection. His running back and even a couple of those guys on the right side of the field were looking back immediately because they knew it was a blitz. They knew the defenders were coming in hot. Richardson didn't. He just completely stared at the receiver, tried to make the play, the wrong one. So, yeah, it's over. It's been over. This era is done. And they tried to, make amends by saying, well, this doesn't mean his future in Indy is completely gone. Yes, it is. It is. Because you're going to need to figure out his fifth-year option situation, which means you're going to not obviously take it because Mac Jones played better than Anthony Richardson in any one of these years, and they turned down his fifth-year option. There is no redeeming quality besides arm talent and arm strength. But if you can't harness it, if you can't control it, it's completely useless. So is Anthony Richardson more talented than Daniel Jones? Absolutely. He is more athletic. He has more arm strength, but he can't complete a pass. And in fact, we talk about those injuries. Lamar Jackson got hurt in the pocket when the pocket broke down. Would you believe that all of Anthony Richardson's injuries were using his greatest strength, his athletic ability? It wasn't pocket breaking down and an offensive lineman rolling an ankle or a defender coming at him besides on that play where he dislocates a finger. That might be the only one. But during the regular season, his injuries have come when they've called design runs for him. And in fact, he's missed 17 games due to injury, a full season. And obviously, as everybody says, the best ability is availability. Richardson hasn't been. And Daniel Jones has missed a lot of time, too.
Daniel Jones
He's missed a lot of time, too.
You could say that about him, too.
But the difference is Daniel Jones is the more experienced quarterback. Chris Ballard, the GM, has been to one playoff game, I believe, since coming over to the Colts. Shane Steichen's in his third year with no success, nothing looking up, nothing looking great for them right now. They're in the worst division in football, and they can't win this division. Even when the Houston Texans' offensive line was nothing, C.J. Stroud was having a sophomore slump. and Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell all went down.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure it out last year.
You would actually, I think Steichen is a pretty good coach.
Absolutely. He made Jalen Hurts an incredible quarterback, and that's why everybody thought when they drafted Anthony Richardson that Shane Steichen would figure him out.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate, but he's done a nice job with the rest of the team. I mean, they did win 8 games last year.
Correct.
And they were in contention for a playoff spot there right up until the end, even with Anthony Richardson out there. So if he can get decent quarterback play out of Daniel Jones, game manager, right? The year that the Giants went to the playoffs, that's really what Daniel Jones was. He threw like 15 touchdown passes.
15 touchdowns, correct.
Yeah, and
he had 5 picks, not many fumbles at all.
Right,
Anthony Richardson's fumbled the ball a lot.
He didn't turn the ball over. He managed the game reasonably well. He ran the ball well, when he needed to.
Correct.
That's what he needs to be for the Colts. If he can do that and he can stay healthy, he'll be the starter all year, and the Colts will have a shot at going to the playoffs, I think.
I think it's important. You picked out a really good thing. In 2022, Daniel Jones was not playing tremendous football. He was playing effective and efficient football. And the way that the Colts are built is similar to the way the Giants were built. Their defense is not too bad. They did a pretty good job last year. It wasn't great. Now, they lost 2 of their interior offensive linemen in Will Fries and Ryan Kelly, center and guard. That's a pretty big loss there. But the Jonathan Taylor and the running back group is ranked 8th. Their defense is solid. Not great. Solid. About average. Yeah. That's fine.
But they're kind of a blueprint of what the Giants were in the year they went to the playoffs, right? They had
similar.
They had the running back.
So what, Saquon Barkley?
Saquon Barkley, yeah. Right? And he carried a lot of the load. Jonathan Taylor is certainly capable of carrying the load, right?
Absolutely.
So if he has a good season, I think they could do okay. And I think naming him the starter, I was a little surprised they didn't wait until after the next preseason game, but naming him the starter and saying you're the starter for the whole year. That says a lot. I'd say Daniel Jones he took a risk. He left the Vikings. He probably could have signed back on there as the backup quarterback and been gotten decent money for doing that. He wanted to be a starter. He bet on himself that he could beat Richardson out in the competition, and he's done it. So congratulations to him. One question I have for you. Do the Colts play the Giants this year?
I have the schedule right now. No, they do not.
That's too bad.
What's interesting is that
I'd like to see that.
Open the line with Andy Richardson, because it's his offense, I guess people projected him to still be the starter. They were 1.5-point favorites against Miami in week 1. You check the point spread. When I checked it, the point spread moved 1 point more in favor of the Colts with Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback. They got a brutal schedule, I would say. There's a lot of games. I mean, just because it's the Colts, the point spreads are very in favor of their opponent. I think they're favored in 4 games this year. And those 4 games are the Jaguars, I believe, at home, the Titans at home, and the Raiders and the Dolphins.
They're only favored in 4 games. Huh?
That's it.
Well, we'll see. I think
here's the funny part.
I think they've made good decisions this year so far. I think bringing Jones in as the competition for Richardson was a good move. He's a veteran, 6-year veteran. Yeah. He's shown some spark. He's shown that if he can, have a good running game and keep his turnovers down, and he has the athleticism to be able to run the ball occasionally, and maybe have a shot at getting to the playoffs.
7.5 over/under win total. I'll take the under in the worst division in football just because it's the Colts. Here's the thing. I don't think it'll matter. I think the Colts with Anthony Richardson are not great. I think the Colts with Daniel Jones are just okay. I don't think this all of a sudden makes them a playoff contender. It should because they're in the worst division in football. But I just think nothing good is going to come out of the AFC South because nothing good has come out of the AFC South. I mean, there were some nice stories with the Houston Texans and whatnot, but no one saw them as a legitimate threat.
I think if it all bombs for them, then Ballard is gone. Whether Steichen is gone or not, I don't know. I think Steichen has done actually a decent job with the hand that's been dealt him, with Richardson turning out to be really not capable of being a leader. I think that's part of his problem there. If he'd shown some leadership, that might have helped him out some here, but he didn't. And I think that has a bearing on him being benched as well.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.